Jerry Ryan was right to turn down a Captain 7 of 9 show that isn't Star Trek. Legacy, a show led by Jerry Ryan's Captain 7, is still what much of the Star Trek fan base is waiting for in the wake of Star Trek Picard Season 3's ending. And even the actress herself has confirmed with her actions and her words that she wouldn't be interested in returning in a show that didn't align with Terry Matalas's post-Star Trek Picard vision. Ryan reprised her role from the Star Trek Voyager cast and played the former Borg 7 of 9 as part of the cast of all 3 seasons of Star Trek Picard. Although there was a sizable gap between Star Trek Voyager's ending and when Star Trek Picard began, seeing Seven's arc continue was rewarding. Seven ended the Patrick Stewart-led sequel to Star Trek The Next Generation as the captain of the USS Enterprise G, and with Admiral Picard's son on board, it seemed as though the latest version of the iconic sci-fi vessel would return in another spin-off show. Unfortunately, it still hasn't happened yet, but Jerry Ryan seems committed to the idea of continuing where Star Trek Picard ended. Why Jerry Ryan was right to reject a Captain 7 show that isn't Star Trek Legacy. Speaking at SpaceCon 2024 via Trek Movie, Ryan was questioned in her capacity as a member of the Star Trek Voyager panel, but not all queries are related to the show in which she first played 7 of 9. A fan also pushed her on whether she would eventually return as Captain 7 in the still only conceptual Star Trek Legacy. Although her reply didn't confirm or deny if the show would happen, Ryan did announce that an alternative project had been pitched to her that would also allow for Seven's comeback. There has been talk, and there was an idea that was actually pitched to me after Picard ended, which was not the Legacy show that I know the fans are asking for, that I want to do. But it just wasn't me. It didn't feel like the right kind of thing. But there has been talk. And if there is one thing I have learned with this franchise, it is never say never. You never know. Jerry Ryan, SpaceCon 2024, Star Trek, Picard Season 3 finale set up a project like Star Trek Legacy perfectly. Everything was in place to continue the story of an established character like 7 of 9, but also to flesh out newer and original characters like Ed Speleer's Jack Crusher. With John Delancey also back as Q, Terry Matalas's Star Trek Legacy idea looked to really commit to being another spiritual successor to Star Trek's golden era. If Ryan had accepted the alternate pitch, much of this groundwork would presumably have gone to waste. When Star Trek Picard Season 3 ended, it did more than wrap up a legendary chapter. It opened a thrilling new one. With 7 of 9 finally promoted to captain of the USS Enterprise G, fans immediately clamored for a spin-off. But despite speculation and studio interest, Jeri Ryan stood her ground. If she was going to return as Captain 7, it had to be in Star Trek Legacy, and honestly, she was absolutely right. Ryan's decision wasn't about ego, it was about integrity. For nearly 25 years, 7 has been more than a fan favorite. She's been a symbol of identity, redemption, and resilience. Her evolution from a disconnected former Borg drone in Voyager to a commanding, morally grounded Starfleet officer in Picard has been one of the richest character arcs in all of Trek. You don't just slap a uniform on her and shove her into a generic Captain of the Week series. 7 deserves a story with purpose, legacy, and continuity. Anything less would cheapen what came before. That's exactly what Star Trek Legacy promised. Developed by Picard showrunner Terry Matalas, the proposed series would pick up directly from Picard's ending and explore a new era of Trek, one where the torch is passed but never forgotten. 7 would lead the Enterprise G alongside Raffi Musiker and Jack Crusher, with occasional appearances from legacy characters like Admiral Riker or even Captain LaForge. This wasn't just a continuation, it was a culmination. By turning down alternative offers, Ryan protected the soul of 7's story. A standalone show divorced from Picard's momentum and the Trek canon's emotional core would have isolated her from everything that made her journey powerful. Would fans have tuned in? Probably. Would it have felt like Trek? Maybe not. Without the familiar weight of Legacy, a Captain 7 show could have quickly devolved into formula, episodic missions, hollow cameos, and nostalgia without meaning. And let's be real, Ryan knows 7 better than anyone. Her instincts have always guided the character's evolution, from rejecting earlier scripts that